It's so cold, broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, one of the states where we can gamble through an app on our phone, and from another state where we cannot, but it's on the way. My name's Brian Engelman.
And I'm Blake Walley.
And this is Tuesday, September the 12th, 2023. This is the Agree to Disagree show on the New American Media because the old American media has failed you. Yes, Kenneth B. We're starting at 3-ish. Thanks for calling us out, buddy. Appreciate you, pal. He's a master wordsmith, that Kenneth, and he's also quite punctual, unlike us, but let's just say it's either Mercury retrograde, or the Restream app is trash, or it's user error, or it's something in between. Either way, we're here, and we're going to give you the best darn show that we can give you today. Make sure you're following Blake. He's on Twitter at TV's Blake Walley, and his homepage is thenextlevelnews.com. We're the New American Media. Go to thenewamericanmedia.com, which we are going to start updating for the first time in a while. New things are on the horizon. Keep your eyes peeled for that. YouTube.com/the New American Media. Rumble, the New American Media. We're on X at American_media_. Spotify. Subscribe on Spotify. We do the podcast thing now. I don't know. I've never listened to a podcast. I just watch YouTube, but apparently some people do. So look for the Agree to Disagree show on Spotify, otherwise known as Spotify. We have a backup channel on Odyssey, Odyssee, the New American Media. So everything we do on YouTube is mirrored over to Odyssey because YouTube is not a reliable business partner. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation of quicksand. Facebook, YouTube, they don't like us. Twitter didn't used to like us either because they're run by the feds. The feds lie. They love war. I don't. So they don't like me. So they screw with our channel. They derank us. They demonetize us. They deboost us. They throw our shows down the memory hole where you even type the exact things that you're looking for and you cannot friggin' find it. They hate the episode we did with Larry Elder, where he talked about the disintegration of the black family. So I encourage you to try to find it because it must be important if they don't want you to hear it. So I digress. Follow us in all of the places, please. So let's jump into today's show. I got to go ahead and figure out what is the top the top topic. I'm like, wait a minute. Am I having a stroke here? Am I repeating myself? Yes, the top topic we will get into. This is breaking. I don't even know if Blake has this pulled up, but let's see if we can find it, and we'll get into it right now. All right, we are back, and we are going to talk about what is happening, and what is happening is this. This is Matt Gaetz has just gone ballistic, and I am here for it. He's calling for the removal of Speaker McCarthy. And Blake, I don't know if you have this pulled up on Twitter or not. Actually, let me do it because you said your feed's a little slower trying to play these sometimes. I think this is worth just letting him talk for a moment because he nails everything that I've been thinking and saying for months now. We have personally reached out to Speaker McCarthy's office multiple times saying, hey, you promised to release the J6 tapes. Where are they? Where are they? We're ready to come in and see them. Where are the tapes? Where are the tapes, Speaker McCarthy? Where are the tapes? They say, send us an email. We'll get right back to you. They don't get back to you. They say, hey, all right, we took your message. We'll get right back to you. They don't get back to you. Enough is enough already. So this is my spirit animal. Where is the doggone thing? As I scroll through the YouTube.
Find Matt Gaetz on Twitter somewhere. Must have made an
announcement. I had the full video, but then there's a couple of the short videos. I don't want the minute version because what he says is so perfect. Here, I'm just going to start from scratch. I apologize.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to find it. Pull it up.
Okay. Well, I've got one.
Here we go. Got it. Perfect. I must have shared it on Telegram and Facebook instead of on Twitter. So that was user error on my part. I just want to sit back. Let's go ahead and listen to this in all of its glory. Maybe I'll pause it a couple of times and we can give some commentary during it, Blake. But this is holy crap. Occasionally you hear a politician that says all of the right things. This is overdue beyond belief. I clicked share, so I'm going to go back and double check and make sure. Nope, it didn't work. I got to hit click twice.
Here it is.
There we go. Because
Okay.
Restream is going to restream. But here we go. This is Matt Gaetz on the floor. This is okay, here we go. Matt Gaetz.
On this very floor in January, the whole world witnessed a historic contest for House Speaker. I rise today to serve notice.
Okay, he's going to serve notice, but let's just remember the historic battle for the Speaker, Blake. You remember how contentious that was, right? They did not pass. Yes. They did not figure out a Speaker on the first or second vote. It took a while.
No, it's like a dozen probably. How many votes they had to just keep doing, and it was just like getting comical. But they got concessions, and one of the things is to put McCarthy on a short leash if he didn't do what they wanted.
Amen. So here we go.
Mr. Speaker, you are out of compliance with the agreement that allowed you to assume this role.
You're out of order. The whole friggin' system is out of order, but he is out of compliance, and it's been almost coming up on a year. Enough is enough.
The path forward for the House of Representatives is to either bring you into immediate total compliance or remove you pursuant to a motion to vacate the chair. We have had no vote on term limits or on balanced budgets.
Term limits and balanced budgets, Blake, these are not complicated topics. Either he was lying through his teeth and he had no intention of doing it, or he's completely inept. What would you guess? Is he part of the deep state, McCarthy? Was he just lying to get some temporary power here? Or do you think like he got in and didn't realize that it wasn't going to be feasible for something politically? Why hasn't he done those two? Term limits and balanced budgets.
I think he plays both sides. And yes, he's going to be loyal. He's kind of torn between the two. But he's going to be more loyal towards the deep state, which means we got to hold his feet to the fire.
Agreed. Matt Gaetz continues.
As the agreement demanded and required, there's been no full release of the January 6 tapes.
Where are the January 6 tapes, Blake? Do you think he got in there and got threatened by the deep state and said, hey, we're the ones behind that. We're the ones that said we're not going to accept all of the National Guard to properly maintain and protect the Capitol. We know that Pelosi set him up and opened up the magnetic locks. We know that the deep state, that the alphabet agencies were in the crowd, breaking the windows, causing the riots so that we could pin it on Trump, so that they wouldn't have the chance to dispute the votes in the states where everything was shady, because we have to complete our coup, our overthrow. And if you go up against us, you're going to end up sleeping at the bottom of an 8-foot lake while paddleboarding. Do you think that's what happened to McCarthy? He got in with good intentions and he got threatened by a traitorous deep state that's overthrown the duly elected president of this country? Or do you think McCarthy's just a weasel?
Well, if they were willing to get rid of Tucker, the highest rated cable host, to prevent him from going any further and exposing what happened on Jan 6, yeah, they could easily come after McCarthy. And they got all the goods
after us. I just say they're coming after us anyway, Blake. There's no hiding. It's like, well, we better not do this or else they'll be mad. They're mad. They hate us. If they don't want us dead, they want us rendered insignificant by all means possible. Anyway,
right.
Here we go.
As you promised, there has been insufficient accountability for the Biden crime family, and instead of cutting spending to raise the debt limit, you relied on budgetary gimmicks and rescissions so that you ultimately ended up serving as the valet to underwrite Biden's debt and advance his spending agenda.
Okay, so Blake, from what you've seen with the balanced or the budget proposals, Gaetz is just calling them rubber stamps. We haven't seen any sort of pushback. It's just essentially been a rubber stamp for Biden's overspending. Do you agree that that's what you've seen on that front?
Oh, they've been overspending forever, and it's constantly. Sometimes there's pushback, and they, maybe eliminate a couple of things, but it's always the same, more of the same. I don't expect anything to be different, but there should have been more, but there wasn't. They just rolled over, let it go, as usual.
So we'll get to the other part of what he just said there about no accountability for the Biden crime family, because this is all connected. The news broke today that Biden's going to get impeached. And you're like, oh, God, this is months and months and months. This is years overdue. Oh, wait a minute. There is no impeachment. Oh, it's impeached. Oh, they're just going to it's going to be an impeachment inquiry. You know what? I'm done. Nope. Zero. I refute that. I reject that. But that'll be our next topic. I don't want to get in the weeds on that. I'll give that its dedicated moment. But for the love of God, if you don't impeach Biden, you're complicit with him. Gaetz continues.
Mr. Speaker, you boasted in January that we would use the power of the subpoena and the power of the purse. But here we are, 8 months later, and we haven't even sent the first subpoena to Hunter Biden. That's how you know that the rushed and somewhat rattled performance you just saw from the Speaker isn't real. At this point, during Democrat control over the House of Representatives, they had already brought in Don Jr. 3 times. And we haven't even sent the first subpoena to Hunter Biden. Power of the subpoena and power of the purse. Only thing the 118th Congress is known for at this point is electing Kevin McCarthy Speaker and underwriting Biden's debt. And unfortunately, there's only one of those things we can remediate at this time. Power of the purse. Our leadership right now is asking us to vote for a continuing resolution. A vote for a continuing resolution is a vote to continue the Green New Deal, a vote to continue inflationary spending, and in the most troubling of fashions, a vote for a continuing resolution is a vote to continue the election interference of Jack Smith.
And for the love of God, the fact that Jack Smith, Blake, is doing what he's doing and the Republicans in Congress are doing nothing to push back. I mean, it sure as hell seems like they're all in on it. Is that an overreach by thinking that?
No, I guess he was like in secret meetings at the White House. They planned all this stuff. And that's telling that they bring in Don Jr. a few times. They haven't brought in Hunter once, so it's a double standard.
And they impeached President Trump twice over nothing. Twice over nothing.
Right.
I mean, Biden's taken how many tens of millions? Are we into the hundreds of millions of dollars yet?
Let's just say at least
corporations.
Probably at the minimum 30, maybe 50. Who knows? Maybe more. But we're going to have to investigate. And they don't look like they want to do that. Or they just want to kind of talk about it, but not actually go through with it.
Yeah, maybe back against the wall. If you're going to come out and, throw me to the wolves and try to hold me accountable today, I guess maybe I'll try to head you off at the pass and say, yes, okay, we agree to an impeachment inquiry. I'm sorry, what? An impeachment inquiry. Why do you keep whispering the second part? What was that? That whole thing you said? I said we're having an impeachment inquiry. It's such bullshit.
Mr. Speaker, we told you how to use the power of the purse. Individual, single subject spending bills that would allow us to have specific review, programmatic analysis, and that would allow us to zero out the salaries of the bureaucrats who have broken bad, targeted President Trump, or cut sweetheart deals for Hunter Biden. September 30th is rapidly approaching, and you have not put us in a position to succeed. There is no way to pass all the individual appropriations bills now. And it's not like we didn't know when September 30th was going to show up on the calendar. I must be better.
Exactly.
You must be better. And this House must be better, for it is the last best hope for tens of millions of Republicans. We demand real oversight against this weaponized government. Just look at the bribery. If tens of millions of dollars flowing from foreign corrupt people into the bank accounts of the Biden family wasn't enough for actual impeachment, why were we even looking? Joe Biden deserves impeachment for converting the vice presidency into an ATM machine for virtually his entire family.
Okay, now I'm going to bust Matt Gaetz right there for one thing. Do you know what I'm going at? Any clue what I'm about to bust him on?
Nope.
Here, let me rewind and see if you catch it this time.
Actual impeachment? Why were we even looking? Joe Biden deserves impeachment for converting the vice presidency into an ATM machine for virtually his entire family.
It's redundant. ATM means automatic teller machine. So if you say ATM machine, it's automatic teller machine. You don't need to say machine. It's an ATM. The word machine is in the M. The M is the machine. I know. It's so
all right.
Minor detail, but I fixate on words. I can't call them the mainstream media. They're the lying legacy.
You get distracted too easily, Brian. You got to let some of those things go.
He continues.
We all see it. We all know it. Now, moments ago, Speaker McCarthy endorsed an impeachment inquiry. This is a baby step following weeks of pressure from House conservatives to do more. We must move faster.
Yes.
Now, I will concede that the votes I have called for will likely fail. Term limits, balanced budgets, maybe even impeachment. I am prepared for that eventuality, because at least if we take votes, the American people get to see who's fighting for them and who's willing to tolerate more corruption and business as usual.
Blake, what do you think about that point? I think it's one of the most salient and powerful points he made. Even if they fail, put them on the record so that in 2024 you can vote the rhinos out, you can vote the globalists out, at least force them to say yay or nay. All of this in between pretending I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth crap. I think the American people are completely fed up with that. What say you?
Well, part of the American public won't put up with that. That's my concern, is that people do not pay attention, so they don't know what's going on. So yes, I'd like to have that on record and show who the good people are, who's fighting for us, and who's just deep state swamp creatures that are just giving away all of our money and letting corruption slide. But I don't expect the average American still to tune in. It's just like Fall of Rome, bread and circus, and they still have no idea, and they'll still run out to the ballots. Or on election day, they won't know anything about it, but they'll just cast their votes for the usual suspects, and we'll be in the same predicament. So, but we did it to ourselves. But this is the danger of what happens when people elect representatives. They're supposed to represent you, but they don't pay any attention until it's voting day, and then they keep voting for the wrong people. Anyway, so there's a problem with that. But
well, you can't. God, I just stammered and stuttered about 1,000 times there because I tried to say 7 things at once. You may be right. What's that song? You may be right. You might be crazy.
Billy Joel.
But it just might be a lunatic I'm looking for.
You lunatic you're looking for.
Yeah. So,
Billy Joel just dominated the 80s. Yeah, good stuff. All right.
Really? Oh, have you heard the cover of We Didn't Start the Fire by Fall Out Boy?
No, but
check it out. It's pretty good. They updated all most of the references.
Okay, I'd be curious. I'm not a big fan of Fall Out Boy, but I would be interested. I'm curious, because that's kind of
that'll be our question of the day
song anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
a lot of people hate it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a cool video. It was an interesting, creative.
Everything's burning.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I think it was cool. That'll be our question of the day for you out there, Kenneth, Dreamer, Frankie. Oh yeah, by the way, to anyone who's not following us and linked up with the Agree to Disagree show on Facebook, go on to Facebook. It's a private group. You got to search parentheses, the Agree to Disagree show, parentheses. Just find it. Find the Agree to Disagree show, because Dreamer Ultra has found us over there. I think Kenneth has found us over there. So we need to get Frankie and the other viewers over there. But that's our question of the day. Have you heard the revised version of We Didn't Start the Fire by Fall Out Boy? And do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it okay? I kind of like it. Some of their references give me a hint that they're a little wacky lefties. But either way, I like the song. I like the callback to a better time back in the 80s when things were cool. I don't know. Was that a 1990s song, early 90s?
Yeah, it was on the cusp. It was their late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there.
Right. So that's our question of the day. Grade that song. Have you heard it? And if not, check it out and tell us, did you like it during the next show? Okay, Matt Gaetz continues here.
Mr. Speaker, dust off our written January agreement. You have a copy. Reflect on the spirit of that agreement and build on the start that we had moments ago. Begin to comply. No continuing resolutions. Individual spending bills are bust.
I love that part, Blake. Why can't they just do that? Individual spending bills. We know why they don't. I mean, maybe you could explain it in a little better detail, but that's a simple request. Individual spending bills. Don't link 100 different things together. Just do a yay or nay, one vote, one issue opportunity. Is that an impossibility, Blake? Why can't he just do that at least?
They don't do that anymore. They love to just jam pack these, 5,000 pages or whatever that they have 14 hours to read. They have no time. They jam it full of all kinds of different stuff, or pork spending, what have you. Everybody's getting a kickback or payoff, and it's ridiculous. It should all be very common sense. Just like I do 1 or 2 pages. Here you go. Here's what we're spending on. It's our money, and they've just they've taken some of these freedoms too far, and now they're just screwing us, and people just don't pay attention. because they should be outraged, but we don't have an engaged public.
Well, I appreciate the effort from Matt Gaetz to try to push this forward. He's given him one last opportunity. He's essentially burned his bridge. The time is up. There is no more, I am sorry. There are no more extensions that we can offer you for this. But anyway, Matt Gaetz is wrapping up here.
Votes on balanced budgets and term limits, subpoenas for Hunter Biden and the members of the Biden family who've been grifting off of this country, and the impeachment for Joe Biden that he so richly deserves. Do these things or face a motion to vacate the chair. And let me alert the country, a motion to vacate might not pass at first, but it might before the 15th vote. And if Democrats bail out McCarthy, as they may do, then I will lead the resistance to this uniparty and the Biden, McCarthy, Jeffries government that they are attempting to build. I know that Washington isn't a town where people are known for keeping their word. Well, Speaker McCarthy, I'm here to hold you to yours. I yield back.
I mean, Blake, this was stunning. I don't even know if you were aware that this happened when you put together today's show notes, because it just came out. I saw it like right as I was doing show prep, putting this together. So in general, you got 5 minutes. I thought it was important enough to lead the show on. I mean, in its totality, what do you think of all that?
No, great find. I wasn't sure. I was going to roll with like maybe exciting news that they were going to impeach him, but it was just for an inquiry. And so Gaetz called him out. And I'm glad somebody's got some balls. I mean, they tried to destroy Gaetz, his family, reputation, everything. They ran him through the ringer. He disappeared for several months because of the investigation. So he's not having it anymore. The gloves are off. So good for him. So I'll get behind that. I'd like to see that. That's what we need. We need a lot more. We need 100 more of him in D.C., and we could actually get things done. So he's got my support.
Exactly. And Blake, I think you touched on it there. He disappeared. He's being threatened. They're trying to destroy him. They're doing it to all of us, every one of us. Well, at first they went for Matt Gaetz. I don't know, but he had silly hair and a big forehead, so I didn't say anything. Then they went for Alex Jones. Yes, he's been right on 999 things, but, that whole school thing was just a bridge too far. He should be wiped out, erased, and thrown into the dustbin of history as if he never existed, because he's not perfect like me. Ha ha ha, says the people that say, well, I'm not Alex Jones. I mean, I would never say something about using a tragedy to take away our civil liberties. I mean, I guess he deserves to lose all of his money in a settlement for $1 quadrillion. Well, and then they went for Marjorie Taylor Greene, but, she does powerlifting and she's got weird feet and she's probably into orgies. So I don't know. I'm not going to defend her either. Well, they went for Trump. Well, Trump probably is a womanizer. I don't know. Trump probably did deals with mobsters with casinos in New York and New Jersey. I don't know if he did, but maybe, probably. And he talks a lot and he's really annoying sometimes and he won't shut up. So yeah, I know he did a million things to try to get our country back on track, but let's throw him away too, because he's not perfect like me.
Right.
I am perfect. I am the American voter. I am the American congressman that thinks if I just stay quiet, I too can make a few $100 million like Nancy Pelosi. Just play the game. Don't ruffle feathers. Then maybe I won't drown while paddleboarding in 7 feet of water. I don't know. Maybe I won't get Vince Fostered. Maybe I won't get Michael Hastings. If I just be quiet, I'll be okay while everything around me burns like in Billy Joel's video for We Didn't Start the Fire. Yeah. Fuck that. Fuck them. They're coming after all of us. So if they're going after Gaetz, there is no more time to sit on the sidelines. There is no more time to just kind of be quiet and grift a little bit. You're in Congress. You have a little bit of an opportunity to push back on some of this shit. Do it. Or go to the vote, say yay or nay, support common sense, support good policies, or go on the record, tell us who you are so we can vote your ass out in 2024 and start over. There is no tomorrow. There is no waiting for tomorrow. There is no perfect human being that's going to be the perfect candidate, that's going to be beyond reproach in every single way. How about you get 7 out of 10 things right instead of 10 out of 10 wrong? I will take a few wins as opposed to a complete annihilation. And that's all we've had, Blake. It's just been trash. And the people that have bailed on Trump, the ones that are trying to, oh, no, we're going to have these primaries. And, we're just going to ride it out. Little Ronnie D's like, I know there's a bunch of stories about me from my checkered past, but they haven't fully vetted me yet. I'm just going to be quiet. Ooh, the Bushes, the Bushes and the Rupert Murdoch family. Oh, the whole GOP. They say if I just be a good little boy, I'm going to be president someday. So I just got to throw Trump under the train, under the bus, and I'm going to be little Ronnie D, the next president. Yay for me. I am over this stuff. The time to defend President Trump is now. Did you see Kristi Noem in, what was it, North Dakota, South Dakota? I would South Dakota. Did you see her? Is she like the only person that said, I 100% fully support Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election? I'm pleased to announce to you the 45th and 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Who else is saying that? They're all just sitting on the sidelines hoping that Trump is destroyed or executed, and then maybe they'll get their shot. Well, if I don't ruffle too many feathers, they're not going to come after me. They're coming after all of us. They blew Kennedy's head off in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
We're all under the crossfire. We're all behind the crossfire here.
Right. And they got rid of Stuart Rhodes. They got rid of Enrique Tarrio, just huge sentences for political prisoners. Yeah, they are coming after all of us. And they've gone after Peter Navarro or Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, Rudy Giuliani. I mean, they are throwing the book at everybody. So, yeah, it's us or them. And they're not playing fair. So, and they're doing things that are 1,000. Even if the stuff was bad on any of these people, what they're doing is at a minimum 100 times worse. You can't possibly go after Trump and then ignore these serious crime family stuff going on with the Biden family. It's nasty. And
22 years ago, you had a private citizen builder, Donald John Trump, calling in to the news stations, discussing what happened during those attacks. He's down there at ground zero, walking around. He's volunteering his crew to help. Like, he's participating. You had Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor. Now what? Now they're both public enemy number one by Barack Hussein Obama, the CIA deep state asset that is hell-bent on destroying this country. So they went from heroes to zeros, like that Vanilla Ice song. If we're going to talk 1990s song, drop that zero and get with the hero. All right.
Isn't that from Earth Girls Are Easy? This is Damon Wayans' line, wasn't it? And Jim Carrey.
Well, I don't know who said it first, but I know it was definitely in a Vanilla Ice song as well. But we're talking about early 90s type of stuff, so it fits. But yeah, I just the time for action is now. The time for pussyfooting around and kind of blurring the line. I don't know. I need to be like a milky shade of gray. I don't really want to take a side. Are you for good or for evil? Do you want America to succeed or do you want it to fail? Are you cool with treason or are you not? There is no middle ground. You had 51 former Alphabet agency officials lying to your fucking face about the laptop from hell to cover up the treason, the blackmail, the bribery, the corruption of the Biden crime family. 5 former CIA Alphabet agency lying motherfuckers lying to you to get Joe Biden elected to overthrow President Donald J. Trump. Why? I don't know, because he pushed for energy independence and I don't know, Blake, there's a whole laundry list of the Trump successes.
America being first. Well, part of it is just so they can preserve their way of life. Because if Trump gets reelected, he's coming after all those deep state ghouls. And they knew it was them or us, and so they were willing to lie. Otherwise, they're going to be under fire, which they should be because they're actually engaged in taking America down.
Treason,
right?
An overthrow, a coup.
Yeah, they don't want to get caught for it.
5 CIA former I believe it was 5 former directors of the CIA, wasn't it? Among those,
I'm not
51?
sure. We'll just say at least 2 or 3, but I couldn't tell you. I don't know how many are there, but
many out of the 51. Pure lies. These people cannot be trusted. They need to be removed from their positions of power. They need to be indicted for their treason. There are penalties for treason. Last I looked. So good for Matt Gaetz to finally stand up and say something about what Speaker McCarthy has not done. So sorry to ruin your lead here, but let's jump to your top story.
That should be the lead. I didn't notice it yet. So
I know, but that's why we're here, man.
That was a worthy one, right?
Well, here's the other side story of the day. By the way, despite the fact that Blake and I are passionate, and you know, we have our moments, neither of us, you know, sometimes we feel as though it's a little. And I will speak for you, Blake, real quick.
Yeah,
you know, we might not be perpetually, consistently, always positive. You know, they might say black pilled, if you will, like woe is me. What's the hope? I don't know. Everything's screwed. It's all fallen down type of vibe. But I assure you that Blake and I are healthy mentally. We are not suicidal.
Fair enough. Yeah, we got to see this one out because this is the I don't know how to say it. This is just this epic time to be here on this planet at this time with this incredible absurdity. And then who knows how this story is going to end, whether we fall under tyranny or whether the Patriots win or whether there's a big solar flare and everything gets destroyed and we go down like Atlantis and we're a lost civilization. Or if we're just on some crazy intergalactic reality show. People are studying us. Either way, this is way too exciting with it. So, no.
Yeah, so we are very happy with our lives, non-suicidal, just like Michael Hastings. But yeah, this is the topic that was allegedly going to be our number one topic of the day, and we can still cover it, Blake. I'm sure you have an article you may want to share on this. Do you agree or disagree? I guess I didn't even ask the question. Yeah. The last one, Matt Gaetz is right to call for the removal of Speaker McCarthy. Did you say agree or disagree with that statement before we move to the next? I just blew past that question.
Oh, agree. If he signed the contract, he made the deal. So what can he say? The hard part is, who are they going to replace him with, and will they be voted in? Yeah, well, Gaetz, will he be able to take it? Will they vote for him, or is all the swamp creatures going to vote against him?
Okay, so then let it languish for 15 votes. Let it languish forever, for all I care.
It might. Yeah, I don't know who else they're going to put up there. So, but I mean,
Kamala Harris was encouraging the BLM Antifa Democrat deep state riots of 2020. Kamala Harris was working to fund the groups that were bailing these domestic terrorists out of jail. Kamala Harris was encouraging that chaos, all in an attempt to stoke anti-Donald Trump sentiment to stage a coup to overthrow him as the duly elected president of the United States. Kamala Harris deserves impeachment, leaving the House of Representatives, Speaker of the House, as the third in line to take over all of this corruption. Okay, so leave it vacant. Who goes next? What is it after Speaker of the House? Secretary that we get Pete Buttigieg?
I hope so. Why not at this point?
I hope so.
let Mayor Pete take over.
But you know, I mean, just let it go. Let it all crumble down. I think they've earned it. Okay, so you agree that Matt Gaetz is right to call for the removal, and then I guess this one, what is it? That's true. Jocelyn says, Blake, but we get to be here on this planet at this time with you and Brian. Hey, now
it's amazing. Yes, watching this crazy dystopia unravel in real time. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's breathtaking. Every day, this news cycle just gets more intense. I thought there was going to be like major victories since we started doing this over 10 years ago. I didn't think it would be this bad and take this long to win over hearts and minds, but I don't know. It's like people just have Stockholm syndrome and they're just sheep that go along with anything. It's been a very frustrating experience thinking that we could, just appeal to logic and reason and facts, and people reject that. They want to believe what they want to believe. It's really hard. It's one thing when they're intelligent enough to get some of these concepts, and it's another thing whether they're willing to change their mind once you show them different information. And that's just, it feels like we're doomed. I hate to get black-pilled, but I don't know how bad things are going to have to get before people wake up, but they're still there and they still embrace it. They'll be happy to vote for Biden again. They'll be happy to throw Trump and all of us in jail because they think that the world's getting better. I don't understand it.
See, I got to add this. Yeah. I saw a report. Was it from the Epic Times? Where did I see it? 538, maybe. It's one of those polling groups. I shared it at Telegram, Facebook. And I'm not entirely certain if the data is accurate, but I mean, I would maybe believe it.
Hey, Rick. Rick Norman's here. How you doing, buddy? A new one?
Well, according to the report that I saw, it said all 50 of the states where with the in-person voting for the 2020 election, all 50 states voted for President Trump. All 50. All 50 of the mail-in ballots went to Biden. Come on. I called that it was going to be a blowout this side of Mondale. It was going to be the biggest blowout in recent American history, perhaps the greatest blowout of all time. I am not convinced that Joe Biden even remotely came in close in that last election. So I don't think it's close. I don't think that people are really voting for 7 million unvetted illegal aliens to stream across the border. I don't think that America is voting for a World War III to go send our family members and neighbors to die and end up coming back home in body bags. I don't think America's voting for $5 gasoline. I don't think they're voting for a Democrat anything. I never have understood why so many people allegedly vote for that. By the way, for countervailing views, see this ticker at the bottom of the screen. It says visit cisa.gov/rumor control because they have an opinion on elections. They, like Nancy Pelosi, have a very strong opinion on how the elections were run and who the ultimate winner was. So if you want to hear a countervailing view to what Blake and I have to say, go read that. But if you want to hear the truth, as I feel
Biden got a record 81 million verified votes after all the big
totally
rallies
legit
he flew.
votes.
Right.
Remember, in the primaries, remember how popular he was? He was polling at about 1.5%. Remember, Biden is so popular, right?
Right. You got
no. I guess those are all 81 million
Hampshire.
Anti-Trump votes because Trump was so terrible, taking us as the first president in our lifetime to not engage us in a useless foreign war to feed the souls of the military-industrial complex. Right. America hated no more foreign wars, despite what I've learned my entire life. Forget my eyes, forget my ears. I will trust all of these voting systems and non-verified signatures. 81 million totally legitimate votes.
Right.
It was a coup, people. It was a coup. Okay, so back to this story. Blake, do you agree or disagree that Speaker McCarthy is making a major mistake by starting an impeachment inquiry into Joseph Q. Biden? I know it's R, right? R. Biden?
Yeah, Robinette or something weird.
Yeah. I like always giving people a Q middle name when I'm not. And that has nothing to do with that trust the plan crap. It just, I've always had Q as like a fake middle name. Like, what could your middle name be?
It's old term. Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to switch my answer on this because I was going to say no, but if it's just an inquiry, then maybe
I had to update what you typed. I had to actually change that while we were talking for the past 3 minutes because it wasn't an impeachment. It's an impeachment inquiry.
Right. So, yeah, this kind of changes everything. But this is here what we got. This was going to be my headline. McCarthy announcing his formal Biden impeachment inquiry. Let's see if I can get this to be pulled up here. I don't know what happened to Brian. He's disappeared. But there's something funky going on with the Mercury retrograde and the restream. But we'll have to deal with it for a few more weeks until they get that all straightened out. But Senate Republicans here's where it came in. The Senate Republicans are warning the House against pursuing an impeachment inquiry when they could focus instead on issues such as the economy and the border ahead of the 2024 election. Which,
by the way, Blake, if they're not impeaching Biden over the border, what in the hell are they doing? The impeachment needs to be about the dereliction of duty. Start there and then continue with the investigation into Burisma that he's on tape bragging about. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's nothing there. He's on tape laughing about how powerful he is. They found 20 shell corporations. He doesn't create or sell anything other than bribes and blackmail. Holy shit. What Republicans are saying it would be a bad idea to impeach Biden. Put them on the let me see their names so that we can make sure they never get a second term or another term, rather. Good Lord.
Yeah, we should. They should be on a list and they should be voted against. Not that these are not important issues, but why can't we have all of them? Yes, people need to know about the economy. They're already feeling that. They're starting to feel the pain now in some of these sanctuary cities because they're getting overrun with all of the immigrants. So maybe they're going to start worrying about the border. Aliens. But then also you got to impeach because people need to know all the things that he's doing. And you got to force the leftist legacy media to cover these issues. And so people need to be informed on all of it. And if
you know what? That's a great point, Blake. That might be the only way that the CNN viewer, brainwashy, that the CNN or MSNBC brainwashy will ever hear this story. They're not covering it. They're just pretending it's not happening. The only way to force these idiot, sheeple that are consuming CNN and MSNBC as if it's remotely similar to news, you got to impeach because then they'll be forced to cover it. If nothing more than messaging, you must impeach. If nothing more than retribution for the 2 bullshit impeachments that they gave to Donald Trump, you must impeach.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So it's unlikely to be successful in the same way, Trump with the Democratic Congress can run the impeachment, but the Senate's not going to vote for it. So, but I mean, it's an issue and people need to know. So what is actually going on and for all the facts to come out to see how much money that the Bidens were collecting, get some more public support during that. We can't just let it go and just focus on a couple of the other issues. So this is a serious problem. This is treason at the highest level. So, but anyway, here's let's run this quick clip here from McCarthy. This was going to be part of the headline here. Here we go. As he announces an impeachment proceedings. See, it says impeachment proceedings, not inquiry. So I got excited, but I guess that was false alarm. But here we go.
Yes, here we go.
Into President Joe Biden. This logical next step will give our committees the full power to gather all the facts and answers for the American public. It's exactly what we want to know, the answers. I believe the president would want to answer these questions and allegations.
Yeah, so, I mean, at least that's something, and maybe that can open the door. It's not enough. It should be, a heavy-handed, boom, we're going through with it. And not this little pussyfooting around, like, we're looking at an inquiry. Like, they've already got the information they need. They got plenty there. Oops, did Brian drop out?
I'm here.
Brian,
I'm back again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's glitching where I can't tweak the captions and I got to keep hitting reset so that it's like clearing the cache so that I can have the room to add the next story so that I can keep us on track. Blake, I'm trying really hard. We need a producer and a budget.
That would be awesome. So
it will. It will be awesome. We're going to make it happen.
Who's going to hire us, Brian? Is it going to be
No. We're creating our own opportunity.
InfoWars? No. Yeah.
We're creating our own opportunity. Like, that's the only way here, because whenever you serve a master, that master could toss you to the trash on a whim. Have you ever been married? Yeah, that's just as easy as it can get a divorce. You just get tossed to the trash one day. We're done with you. Have you ever worked for someone that fired you one day and it was just kind of like, are you kidding me right now? Yep. Yeah, that happens every single day. But if you run your own company and you build your own empire, it's hard to fire yourself. So I think that really is going to be the only way. We just have to start crushing the demographics. We got to have everyone out there like Kenneth and, Frankie and Dreamer and everyone to share this video.
All of your responsibility. No, it's help.
Yeah.
But it's great that we have people supporting and growing the show, and we will get next year is a pivotal year, so it's all on the table. So we're gonna have to make a few breakthroughs between now and then.
Yeah, so that's what I think. Anyway, back to the impeachment inquiry. He comes out with this little milquetoast. Yes, I think that the next thing that we should the next step, and we should inquire about some things, and we should have a meeting, and we should talk about the stuff, and then look around, maybe have an investigation, and then It's like, shut up and do something.
I hear you.
I can't take this crap anymore.
Well, hey, at least Gaetz spoke for us. Right.
Everything moves at a snail's pace unless the Democrats are in charge, and they just punch you all fucking day. All day. You're in a boxing match. This whole Rocky thing, I'm going to let him wear himself out. I'm going to let them wear themselves out. I'm just going to, and then finally he has no energy left, and you come in with the final round. Holy shit, I'm done. This is too much. I don't believe in a plan. I don't believe in a white knight that's going to come galloping in to save us. Wow, it's been the greatest sting operation in the history of mankind, the history of the Galactic Federation. Okay, I'm not buying it, and I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for someone else to save us. The people in the positions of power now have to push now, because you're being edged off a cliff. You're being edged off the cliff. There's no turning the other cheek in politics. There's punching back. You have to fight politically, safely. What's the word I'm looking for? Non-violently. I mean politically. Yeah. You must push back, because you're getting pushed by these monsters, these traitors to America, these globalists who hate you. Well, I think we'll look into it. I think that we should maybe start the process, and we'll assemble a team. We'll get maybe 3 or 5 people, and we'll have an unselect committee, bipartisan. I think we should invite the Democrats to come in and let us know where we were wrong. I would like to learn and listen. I friggin' hate. I just want to. McCarthy, what are you doing? You know what he's doing? He's doing exactly what he's put there to do. He's not on your side. I have left so many voicemails with that clown. I have sent them the emails. They promise, we'll call you back. I say, hey, it's been another month. You promised to release the J6 tapes. We want to see them. Do we have to go in the skiff? How do we put the stories out? You're in charge now. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. They've been lying to us about January 6th for 2.5 years. We're ready to see them. You promised that we were going to see them. Where are they? Oh, we'll send you an email. Didn't get an email. Call them again. Oh, yeah, send us another email. Send another email. They don't get back to you because they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They let Tucker have 2 minutes, and what happened? They got the shaman released immediately because it was all a lie. Non-violent, praying for the cops, walking through, peacefully protesting. That's it. Oh, it's an insurrection. It's not an insurrection, dude. It never was. It was a mostly peaceful protest, and then some people did some things. Tucker put 2 minutes of that out. Bam. The number one name in cable news was evicted. He was Murdoch'd. He was deep stated, gone. But luckily, he took his audience with him. And luckily, thank God, for another guy I don't fully trust, Elon Musk, I appreciate everything that he's been doing at X. At least there's one major platform. There's Rumble too, but Rumble's a little wonky. At least there's one major platform where we have the permission to speak freely. Thank God.
Oh, dude, there's an article I had. I threw out of the stack from that new Threads thing on Facebook. They manipulated the search function. If you look up like COVID or vaccines or whatever, and there's nothing there, and it just directs you to go to the CDC website.
So it won't let you find anybody talking about anything. It just.
I haven't even seen Threads. I have no interest in Threads.
Yeah,
And if
same
they're going to
here.
censor like that, then why would I ever bother? Even if I disagreed, I still want to be able to see the information. But that just doesn't fly here in America. Sorry.
I like this one here. Dreamer Ultra has given me. I think Dreamer Ultra is going to the Kenneth School of Wordplay. He said toads, the old American media dopes.
I like that.
Yeah, because we're TNAM, TNAM, because the news always matters. TNAM for the new American media. But I like toads, the old American media dopes. I like that. That's kind of funny. I appreciate that. I love your interaction. All of your comments are appreciated. I love the interaction so much. Jocelyn here, she says, the impeachment inquiry needs to happen because Trump is about to expose more of Biden's crimes. Trump and the military will also be exposing the nitty-gritty of the 2020 election fraud, fifth generation war. Yes, Lord willing, please, can you hurry up?
Right. Lord willing, this is an interregnum. Trump is still president with authority with the military, and they can overnight solve all this. I'd like to believe it. We'll see. When
we went out to Washington, D.C., Blake, to cover what was about to happen, I discussed with you. I said, wow, okay. So this is where he's going to announce that, here we go. We caught them all. We're doing a perp walk. We got the Capitol surrounded. They're taking all the criminals out. I'm like, well, that's worth it. That'll be worth going to see, because it was obvious to anyone with eyes that Biden did not get 81 million legitimate votes. 6 states just paused their counts. Trump is up hundreds of thousands in each state. And then magically he loses overnight. There's boxes that pulled out of the underneath of the tables, and there's big white trucks that bring in wheelbarrows full of documents, and you got people feeding the same document over and over, and you got source code on those digital machines that nobody is allowed to see because it's proprietary. Well, guess what? If it's proprietary and we can't double check it, we don't trust it, motherfucker. We don't trust it. So I was going out to DC. It's like, okay, well, finally, it's been a long month, Blake. I can't believe we went from 2 months. I can't believe we went from November 3rd to December 3rd to January 3rd. Oh my God, it's been 2 months and 3 days. This has been the longest, craziest, most insane 2 months of my life. I can't believe so many people were lied to and believing this fake story for 2 whole months. Blake, we're 2.5 years into this bullshit. If there's going to be a white knight riding in to save the day, how about now? No, trust the plan. Meanwhile, 10 million people, military-aged, fighting men, are flooding our border. So what do you expect to happen next? Here's my thought. The internet goes down. You have sleeper cells in every state of our country, and it's on. Now that we've pissed off Russia, there's going to be a couple nuclear attacks. By the way, they're going to be committed by the same people that did 9/11. It's going to be our people, and they're going to pin the tail on Russia. Then World War III starts, and we got an inside invasion, an exterior invasion, and it's all going to hell. That's my prognostication.
Yep.
I sure hope all of that is wrong. But if we're supposed to trust a plan, oh, by the way, oh, don't worry. Trump knows where all these people are. He's just going to round them all up. 10 million people. 10 million people. You can't find $2 trillion the day before 9/11. You're going to find 10 million illegal aliens, military-aged fighting men that broke into our country illegally. You know where they all are? Like they all have ankle bracelets. Like they're all going to magnetize and go, they're all going to get stuck. They can't move at the supermarket. And like you just go pick them up and put them into, you got a big butterfly net. You get the butterfly net and you just take away all the illegal aliens. That I don't see it happening. So this is the Obama overthrow. He's 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. Joe Biden is out to lunch. He's a criminal, but he's also gone. He's the perfect marionette puppet for Barack Hussein Obama, or Barry. Is it Soetoro or Soweto?
Yeah, Soetoro.
Someone said Soweto. Someone said Soetoro. And now I can't remember if I have the right name in my head.
Yeah, it's like his stepdad was Lolo Soetoro, married his Obama's mom, and they moved to, is it Indonesia for a while until they came back?
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, it was definitely Soetoro. That is the name.
We got sleeper cells here, Blake. So, the same deep state that will put 51 liars out there to get this clown Biden, who's a complete lunatic, hack, showers with his daughter. You've seen the diary. You've seen what his monster kid is up to. By the way, Rick Norman says, right, Brian. When you leave a comment, what am I right about? Or are you saying, right, Brian?
Maybe
like
just
I
in
need
general.
to feel the sarcasm, or I need
No.
to give me a sentence so that I can respond to it. I don't know where to take that, but I love your comments.
He's agreeing with you. Yes, it's all good. Rick's good.
Kenneth B is saying that the Chinese barbers are going to go after Blake.
Oh, we don't want that.
Yeah, we do not want that. They're going to give you that bowl cut.
I'm probably going to cut my hair next year as we go on tour and go to media events. I'll change it up a little bit, but it's been fun while it lasted. This is my COVID hair, my lockdown. Yes. And they shut down all the barbershops in LA.
Oh, yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, I think it'll be cathartic. I think it'll be cathartic for you to kind of let that go, to give it a refresher. I can't read that comment. Can you read it? And you know exactly why McConnell, I can't read it. It's all chopped off. Once again, this Restream app is, for everything good it is, it's also three things that are not.
I don't see the caption you're putting up there, but we should probably start up in the pace here. We're almost an hour in, and we're only through a couple of stories, so we got to do some lightning round, even though I do have more time.
Good.
Let's try to, yes.
Okay, we'll chug along because I can make a pivot either this way or this way off of McCarthy or to illegal aliens. So either way I go will be right, but also whatever I do will not set up a smooth segue for the next one. So I'm just going to let it rip. Here we go. Next topic.
Alrighty.
Okay, I'm just going to tease. I was literally just talking about illegal immigrants. They're not illegal immigrants. They're illegal aliens. I gotta change this. They're aliens. They are alien to this country. They have illegally broken in here. They're not migrating. They're breaking in. I can't call it's all. We have to be specific about our words. I'm not trying to browbeat Blake in front of the audience. I'm just saying.
A lot of these I pull out of articles or whatever. That's just the way they're written, and that's fine. Fair enough. Don't get too hung up on these little things. I
know, but I've been getting a little excited, so I have my Ricola here. I'm gonna go ahead.
Ricola. All right, here we go.
Ricola. Isn't that what happens at the Minnesota Vikings games? They have that big horn. They go Ricola. You've seen that for the entrance of the Vikings games?
Well, yeah, they do hit the horn. That thing is awesome. But no, I don't think you can
intro
through it. But
okay, so let's talk about this subject. Blake, agree or disagree that the protesters, insurrectionists, I'm going to change that. The insurrectionists that took over McCarthy's office should face January 6th style sentences. Agree or disagree, Blake? I
am going to disagree.
I
don't believe in the whole. I got to go with the Okay, let me come back to that. Let me roll this because I'm going to the Gandhi clip. An eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. So I think the sentences that they put on the J6 people is outrageous. They shouldn't be in there. And I'm not stooping to the deep state Democrats level or just the deep state swamp creatures level because we don't do that here in America. And I'm going to take the higher ground here. Yeah, maybe they should get some kind of a punishment. Didn't look like it was too bad. I don't know if they actually trashed the place or not, but they did arrest 7 people who stormed McCarthy's office.
Blake, that is a seat of democracy. They tried to overthrow our democratic way of life.
Right. So as they went into McCarthy's office, a protest over HIV/AIDS funding. Multiple activists. This was on yesterday, September 11th, staging a protest. Capitol Police emailed the Epic Times to tell them this morning multiple individuals were demonstrating inside a House office building. After the demonstrators refused to cease demonstrating, the Capitol Police arrested 4 males, 3 females for unlawful entry.
How dare they assume their gender?
Right. Exactly. I don't know if they asked them or what. Make sure they get all their proper pronouns. But anyway, so it was a minor thing. But I mean, if they're going to go after all heavy-handed on the J6 people who were protesting, why? Yeah, what are they going to do with this? But I don't know, Brian. What do you think? Agree or disagree? Should they face the same? Was this an insurrection? Should they be charged for seditious conspiracy? Should they be put in jail for years in the DC gulag?
I think so.
Held without charges.
I think so. The only way that this is going to make any sense is if you show how absurd it all is. Yeah, I think they should sleep in a broom closet for 2 years without a trial. Because they said, oh, how dare they go into the people's house? How dare they go into the Capitol? We were in there trying to do important big people business. And these unwashed masses came in and tried to force their views onto us to get us to change our decisions and our policies. How dare they question us? So yeah, put them in a closet for 2.5 years. Put them in the same cell as the J6ers. Force the media to talk about both of them and go out every day. Form a select committee panel and find out why the Capitol Police allowed this to happen. Find out who was involved. Discuss it with, yes, I think they should. I think they should.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Blake, I don't know how else we're going to turn the stupid shit around without
taking the higher ground, perhaps. But I would like to see that. But then, Rand Paul said that, but then he wanted to throw away the any chance of impeachment, which I disagreed with. So, but I don't know. I don't like it, but it happened. So, how do people respond to this? And what will the punishment actually be? I think it's just going to be slaps on the wrist, unless they actually did some vandalism. But we shall see. So I don't know. I wouldn't agree if the Republicans tried to throw him in a gulag for that.
This is the greatest threat to our American democracy that we've had since that hallowed moment of January 6th, 2021. Did you see Kamala Harris comparing September 11th to January 6th?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was pretty sickening.
And I'm starting to have the opinion now that Gavin Newsom came out and said it. I think they're going to try to run Kamala Harris. Everyone's saying they're going to try to put Barack Hussein Obama's spouse up for president with no political history. But it seems like they're starting to circle the wagons. Gavin Newsom said, I need to put this all to bed, put this to rest. Joe Biden is going to be reelected. And if for some reason Joe Biden isn't able to, it's Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is next. It's her turn. I'm like, ooh, God. Are they really going to try to do that? They're not going to try to squeeze Hillary or Barack Hussein Obama's spouse in there?
Well, we'll see. They're in a desperate maneuver, but they want to keep things within the House that Obama can control, whereas Newsom is going to be his own man and not going to follow his orders. So that's a different faction of the Democratic Party. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. He doesn't seem like he really wants it. So it's either going to be Michelle, I guess, maybe Kamala if she's eligible. But even if she's not eligible, I'm sure the Democrats will find a way. They won't care anyway. So anyway, Frankie Brown is saying, see the interview Tucker had with the Capitol Police Chief. Yeah, he contradicted so much of the information. And it's breathtaking that we saw what happened on that day, and we've seen these people come out and they're telling the truth. They're trying to hide footage, and if you talk to these people, they're telling you that, yeah, they dropped the ball that day. They didn't have the National Guard. They didn't have the backup. They didn't have the communication, or Mayor Bowser or Nancy Pelosi or the staff at arms. He got killed. Or he died a year later or what have you. So, yeah, it's just a big cover-up. The truth is there, but they don't want people to see it. So Tucker's still been doing a great job, but yes, it would be nice if McCarthy would finally release some more of that footage so we can get a better idea of what actually happened that day.
I think we've all essentially had a vote of no confidence in McCarthy. I've waited long enough, and I'm somewhat kidding about locking up these idiot protesters for 2.5 years in a broom closet. Kind of. I mean, I get you're supposed to be.
But then we're just under
perfect.
full tyranny. Then we can't trust either side. One side's got to be the adult in the room.
But we're under full tyranny now.
Right,
This
but you
is-
can't
this
be like,
is
hey, we'll
tyranny.
be just as tyrannical as they are. Like, no. We got to show the American people that, no, this is wrong what they did to the January 6 people. So now we're not going to do the same thing, run the same playbook.
Well, you know
We're
what they're
gonna say,
showing
hey,
them?
they
They're
didn't
showing
deserve
them how
that.
to
These people
lose.
don't
That's what
deserve
they're
it.
showing them. They're showing them how to lose.
I don't know. So again, we'll agree to disagree on that one, but we'll have to
I
jump topics here.
I have,
We got to make some time here. I got about 30 minutes.
I have conversations and disagreements with my libertarian friends who refuse to vote for Trump because he's not perfect. He's not a perfect libertarian. And it's back and forth. And I'm like, you have daughters, dude. You're telling me you wouldn't rather have somebody get 7 out of 10 things, important things right? No, well, he's not perfect. Show me Jesus Christ who's running. I don't see him. I see you, Blake, with the long hair and the, at least how he's depicted in the on the.
Well, they probably wouldn't want me either, and I'm way more libertarian than anything. But some of these libertarians, they're basically anarchists.
Yeah, nothing passes their purity test, and it's just
they're
so
annoying.
frustrating
Yeah.
to me. And it's like if nothing is perfect and you're not going to support one side, then just I guess we're in chaos. And if you're gonna do chaos, you're in. It's what's the phrase? It's like you better act like you're the third monkey trying to get on the ark because, brother, it's starting to rain. And it's like
I don't know that one, but yeah.
Scratching and clawing. You better get to number 2 or else you're going to be done. And I just don't see the Republicans fighting enough. I don't see the heart. I don't see them pushing back. I just keep seeing them getting pushed back. And the other thing I see is fake Republicans, Mitt Romney's, McCain's, Bush's, go down the list. These are not people that are they don't represent us. They're pretending to be like us, and they're on the uniparty. So if you're going to be a Democrat, just Democrat. I got no time for these people. Anyway, okay.
All right.
I digress. Let's speed it around to our next topic.
Okay.
By the way, if I didn't mention before, I do like the new Stingers. By the way, new Stingers are cool.
Thank you.
It's like glamour shots of the 80s. Agree or disagree, Blake? Biden regime should provide more privileges to our illegal aliens. Agree or disagree?
I'm going to disagree.
You heartless so-and-so.
I know, and this is crazy. We've got if this is showing here. Oh yeah, Brian, you're supposed to get on the radio button.
Got it.
Oh, do it again because we hit it at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So 103 House Democrats have called out Biden in an official letter because they're urging Joe to provide more privileges to illegal immigrants. So this Sunday letter. So while we were watching football, they were writing a letter outlining.
We were watching football.
Yes. Outlining 3 benefits for the illegals they want Biden to deliver. Document was addressed to Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. So the Democrats called for executive action to benefit the interests of certain undocumented individuals who are stuck in limbo and asylum seekers in obtaining work authorization. So they want executive privilege. They want to override Congress and have puppet Joe Biden do executive actions to help these people get work authorization. They ask for expedited work authorization for illegals, skipping the statutory 150 days that an asylum seeker usually requires before applying for a work permit. The administration could assist asylum seekers and their communities by increasing the use of parole and decreasing the regulatory wait period. Admission of foreign nationals to the labor market has an effect of reducing wages for American workers. The immigration surplus of $35 billion comes from reducing the wages of natives in competition with immigrants by an estimated $400 billion a year, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, we have enough problems with people here in this country. We have a major homeless problem. We have people that aren't getting paid enough. Unemployment. It's not like we have a labor shortage and we needed these people. They're just basically they're saying they're seeking asylum, even though it's BS. They're not. They're not refugees. They're clearly just open border policy. They're just letting them all in. And so they want to give them more money and they take our jobs when we got enough problems of our own. So,
Dreamer Ultra says they are the best of us. I was told by the Toads.
we want to have like proper immigrants that come in the right ways. They put up their application and they want to be American citizens. They want to embrace us and our culture and find a job and contribute.
A small select number of people.
The people that are actually applying to come in here and do it the right way, a lot of them probably are very good people, and we should be going through their applications and embracing them. But not just a wide open border and here you go, here's a phone, here's some money, you go, here's a plane ticket, go wherever you want, and maybe show up in court in a few years. And now they're trying to get them driver's licenses, getting them work permits, getting them to vote.
It's a pathway to have 10 million more voters can just perpetually rig the Democrat voting apparatus. They want them voting. They are so against having to show an ID and prove who you are that you're legally in the country to cast a vote. They want to turn all of the border states from red to blue. That's what this is about. It's about several things at once. Dreamer Ultra also says that's a small price to pay for excellence. So they're trying. They went out to Hawaii after that place was microwaved. I mean, they said the water was boiling with those people, and they said the numbers of people that were likely sucked out to sea with the currents because they couldn't even stay close in the water. They had to keep going further and further out. All these missing people that still have not been accounted for, that they were sucked away. You'll never see them. They offered them a one-time $700 FU payment. But they want to give these people, these rule breakers, these invaders, illegal aliens, $220. However, I was trying to say that $2,200 a month. Are you out of your ever-loving mind? So I would disagree there. I don't think that the Biden regime should provide more privileges to illegal aliens. It's almost as if you're going to put an incentive out there and you're going to encourage more of that behavior. Wow. It's almost like paying for a hostage swap. Oh, is that a foreshadowing of an upcoming story, perhaps, if we can get to it?
Yeah.
So I think we're in agreement. Do you have anything else to add on this topic?
Nope. It's more insanity.
More insanity.
We got plenty more insane topics.
Next story.
All right.
I really do like that new intro. It's got a spookiness quotient to it. What say you, Blake? What do you think of the intro?
No, it's cool. I like it.
Awesome.
Well done. Ted,
agree or disagree here?
Yes.
Elon Musk should face and this is probably the number one story because it's kind of like how Scott Adams says he's convinced that they're going to outlets like Forbes magazine are trying to demonize rich people. And when you think of rich people, who do you think of? Trump and Musk. And it's like they're on the verge of just trying to assassinate both of them. You see the ADL going after Elon. Why? Because he was asked to do something and he said no. How dare you tell the deep state no? Chuck Schumer said, you know what Chuck Schumer said? He was like shaking in his boots. They got a million ways from Sunday of getting back at you. Wow. So you mean our country's been overthrown and nobody has the balls to stand up to it? So you're just going along with it. You're selling us out because reasons. So Blake, agree or disagree that Elon Musk should face repercussions for sabotaging, air quotes, the attack on Crimea? What say you?
I am going to disagree. And yes, it was trending on Twitter earlier, and probably for a couple of days now, that Elon is a traitor for not getting involved in this war, having his Starlink satellites used to coordinate an attack on Russia and Crimea. So let's pull this up. This is where I got the question here from CNN's Jake Tapper. Fake Jake says Musk should face repercussions for, quote, sabotaging the Ukrainian attack on Crimea.
You know what I have to say to that, Blake? Crimea River.
There you go.
Like, tell me why the United States military doesn't have the capability to do this without involving Elon Musk. You're telling me they don't have their own damn satellites? I don't buy the premise of this story, but please continue.
No, that's exactly. I think that's the point I wanted to make, Brian. You stole it from me, but good for it. That's awesome. It's why do they have to use his satellites? With the U.S. and our military and NATO, they should have everything they already need. They're giving them billions of dollars and all the weapons, and now they're expecting Elon. Those satellites were for, like, the people. They're in a war zone. They didn't sign up for any of this. That's between the leadership, regardless of how you feel of either way, Russia or Ukraine. But yeah, it's good for that. The people at least are not collateral damage, and they can have access to the internet. But now he's supposed to what? Just bend to the will of the NATO and the military-industrial complex and launch an attack on Russia, which could lead to World War III. So yeah, it's total insanity, at least in my opinion. But that's what they're trying to say. They got Secretary Blinken on with Tapper on CNN.
SpaceX CEO Elon Musk has recently confirmed a report that's in Walter Isaacson's new biography of Musk that last year Musk blocked access to his Starlink satellite network in Crimea in order to disrupt a major Ukrainian attack on the Russian Navy there. In other words, Musk effectively sabotaged a military operation by Ukraine, a U.S. ally, against Russia, an aggressor country that invaded a U.S. ally.
Okay, 90% of the people in Crimea side with Russia. Russia, and especially the eastern and southern parts of Ukraine, which was all part of Russia historically forever, they would rather be a part of Russia. This is part of where this invasion comes into. And if they would just give up those areas, probably replace the leader and just pledge to keep Ukraine neutral, this war could be over. But they insist, and they're trying to keep these territories, even though the people don't want to be around with the CIA coup putting in their puppet Zelensky. They don't want to be part of that corrupt Ukraine. They'd rather be part of Russia, and they should be left alone. They should respect the will of those people. But instead, they keep trying to fight over Crimea. So, anyway, we'll run this a little bit longer.
Should there be repercussions for that?
Jake, I can't speak to a specific episode. Here's what I can tell you. Starlink has been a vital tool for the Ukrainians to be able to communicate with each other, and particularly for the military to communicate in their effort to defend all of Ukraine's territory.
It was a nice gesture for Elon to put all that equipment in there on his own dime, and he doesn't want to have his stuff used for purposes of war. And they got to respect that. So I don't understand why they're coming after Musk for this. And now says CNN's report was wrong, that he did not turn off Starlink coverage to block the attack, but instead refused to turn on additional Starlink coverage to facilitate the attack. But let's run this clip from Glenn Greenwald, who is a respectable journalist.
A new biography of Elon Musk claims that Musk denied Starlink services to the Ukrainian military, specifically to its fleet of submarines as they prepared to attack the Russian Navy. Musk company SpaceX controls more satellites than any company or government in the world and is used to, among other things, ensure internet connection anywhere in the world, even if the military forces of one's enemy tries to deny internet service by bombing. Musk has provided Ukraine with billions of dollars of free Starlink services since the war began, when the U.S. government refused originally to compensate him for it. He originally said he would have to withdraw it because they couldn't afford it, but then announced he would continue to provide it for free. But as always with Ukraine and its supporters, nothing is never enough. You must always give more. Musk confirmed part of the story in this new biography and provided his motive this way, quote, "There was an emergency request from government authorities, meaning in Ukraine and then in the United States, to activate Starlink all the way to Sevastopol. The obvious intent being to sink most of the Russian fleet at anchor. If I had agreed to their request, then SpaceX would be explicitly complicit in a major act of war and conflict escalation. He went on to point out that he didn't actually cut off existing services, but just refused the request of the Ukrainian military to extend it even further so they could attack the Russians in an all-new way that he feared would lead to escalation that his company and he would ultimately be responsible for, ethically if not legally. Now, that concession immediately led to widespread accusations that Musk was guilty of treason, or at least being pro-Russian, and calls for the United States government to seize his company. His Starlink services were widespread. But in what way is this pro-Russian? Do private companies, or for that matter, foreign governments, have some obligation to provide the Ukrainian military with everything and anything it demands? Are those who refuse those demands, including out of a desire not to help escalate a already dangerous war, are they inherently guilty of wanting the Kremlin to win the war or being pro-Putin?
So that's what we have there. And as Elon has said, he's a citizen of the United States, and that's his only passport. No matter what happens, he will fight for and die in America. The United States Congress has not declared war on Russia. If anyone is treasonous, it is those who call me such. Please tell them that very clearly. So, but once again, we're seeing the war machine trying to get us involved in a proxy war against Russia. And they're using Elon's equipment, which he didn't sign up for. That wasn't his task. They could provide their own. He should be staying out of that. That's for the civilians. And the military wants to use it to start World War III. That's no deal. I don't blame them. And to say it's treason is not correct.
Now, Glenn Greenwald, he worked for Salon from 07 to 12. He worked from The Guardian from 12 to 13. Then The Intercept from 14 to 20. I guess he never actually worked for RT, but I've seen him on RT. I feel like I've seen him on RT about a trillion times.
Sure, they have him on as a guest frequently.
A perma guest, almost like he's on the set, almost like he's almost like he's on the roster, like he's on retainer at RT. We've seen him there 1,000 times, right?
Well, yeah, he's definitely a part of there because a lot of people won't go on RT.
Yeah, I remember like Abby Martin, and I've seen Glenn Greenwald on there a bunch. So, we always want to consider the source, but in this case, I don't understand the raging erection that the deep state has to escalate this conflict in Russia. I don't understand their fixation with trying to drag us into a potential nuclear war with Russia. I don't get why they are so fixated on it. They said Trump, Russian agent, Putin puppet, P-tapes, Russian P-tapes, Russia, for 6 years now. I didn't like how Pussy Riot was handled. I know that Putin has done some bad things, but tell me Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton haven't. What happened to Obama's chef? What happened to Vince Foster? What happened to Michael Hastings? What happened to, I know I'm conflating Hastings. I'm trying to say the other guy, Seth Rich. What happened to, we could do this for days. Putin is a bad guy. So is Hillary Clinton. Putin is a bad man. Yeah, so is Barack Hussein Obama. Well, like, what are we talking about? Oh, it's an act of aggression. I think the story of NATO, I think we need to re-examine what's going on with NATO and why we're funding it and how we would feel if we had a Bay of Pigs situation right off the coast of Florida in Cuba. That's exactly what's going on here. NATO exists to keep Russia down, right? Am I oversimplifying NATO, Blake?
That's a big part of it. That's their biggest threat over there, and they're on the border. So,
it's
fairly accurate to say that. Yes, that's without Russia, without a threat from the east, then they wouldn't need NATO.
And it's like the bully that comes up to you in the hallway.
Well, they were probably fine for a time, especially during the Cold War Russia, USSR, and even today, it's fair to have it. but they've been, they've been poking the Russian bear, moving their operations further and further east, and it's a threat to their security. So they had enough, and they went over the red line. They've gone past that. Putin has tried to solve this diplomatically. It hasn't worked.
And it's the bully in the hallway. Like, I'm not hitting you. I'm not hitting you. I'm not hitting you. I'm not hitting you. I'm not hitting. Okay, maybe the first 10 times I'm not hitting you. I'm still not hitting you. I'm still not hitting you. I'm still not hit. Like, on the 100th, on the 500th, on the 1,000th, on the 10,000th, at some point, you do exactly what they want you to do, and you hit back, and you run to the teacher. He hit me. He hit me. Look, he hit me. Suspend him. He hit me. I don't know. And it just, the fact that Joseph R. Biden was so integrated that he was so wrapped up with having Shokin fired,
intermeshed,
yes, with Burisma,
intertwined,
so that his son could make how many hundreds of thousands of dollars, six, whatever. The fact that Biden is so wrapped up in Ukraine, it makes me trust Ukraine zero. I don't like this whole, I don't like this call to war. I don't like what's going on there. I don't want to see, I guess I share President Trump's stance. What's your opinion on it? I want people to stop dying. Stop it. Stop it now. And the way you stop it is the way you stop funding it. If you stop sending Zelensky money, he's not going to have any money to continue this crap. You know, the guy that banned other political parties, the guy that said, I'm not having an election unless you pay for it. You know, this guy, oh yeah, he's a bastion. He's a beacon of democracy. Oh yeah, that's the constitutional republic we need to back. I'm sorry, what? The Azov what? You mean they have literal not? I'm sorry, what? What are we supposed to be supporting here? No thanks. So yeah, insane in the Ukraine.
Yep, they're funding Nazis. They're not able to do anything with their counteroffensive, and then they're going to continue to blame us and continue to keep asking for more money and more equipment. Just goes into a black hole. It's not accounted for. There's massive corruption there. They're just stealing and skimming the money. They're throwing untrained soldiers out into the front lines, into the meat grinder. It's a disaster.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Okay. Next topic. While we're talking about bad deals, while we're talking about corruption, let's discuss this. Blake, agree or disagree that the Biden regime made a great deal with Iran, or so I run so far away. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Biden regime made a great deal with Iran, to exchange detainees. Agree or disagree? Great deal.
I am going to disagree.
Why? You think that paying people for hostage taking will encourage more hostage taking? Like the Brittany Griner thing? It's almost like they want to encourage that. Barack Hussein Obama does because he's pulling the puppet strings for the Biden administration. Oh my God, really? Are we still doing that? Yes, it's pretty much exactly what Barack Hussein Obama did for 8 years when he had 2 terms.
Right. So I'm in favor of doing the prisoner exchange if it's just, 1 for 1 or depending on how they want to do it. So if they've got 6 of our spies and we've got 6 of their spies, they can swap them and call it a day. But not in this case. There was a lot of money tied up into this. So let me pull this up. President Trump.
By the way, I just want to point out for everybody, for future reference, I'm trying to use everybody's middle name, not just Barack Hussein Obama. I'm trying to say Donald John Trump. I'm trying to say Joseph Joseph R. Biden. I'm trying to include the middle name. It's not for any reason other than I like middle names. Anything that you're projecting on me, that's about you. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So President Donald John Trump responds to Joe Robinette Biden's latest multi-billion-dollar payoff to the Iranian regime, urging Congress to call out the 25th Amendment and remove incompetent Joe from office. So this is on 9/11 yesterday, the anniversary of these horrific attacks. Joe Biden finalized the deal. Now, it's not only this, so it's 5 Iranian prisoners and 5 U.S. dual nationals. But they also unfroze $6 billion for Iran. So it wasn't just an even. So let's just say 5 prisoners for 5 prisoners. Oh, plus here's $6 billion on top of it. Now, perhaps it was frozen. They unfroze it. But what did we get? How is that a fair deal?
It's not. It's because this regime hates this country. Period.
Yeah, they're bringing us down. It's America last. It's not America first. They will do anything to take us down a peg. Giving away all their money and, making alliances with terrible people. And here we go. There's more of that. So Trump's calling it out. This certainly wouldn't happen under Trump. So I don't know. They need a new negotiator or something. This was really a terrible deal. So here's what Donald Trump. Let's get this straight. We did a hostage trade with Iran. We gave them 5 very tough, smart people they desperately wanted. We got 5 people back, but we also gave them $6 billion. How much of a kickback does crooked Joe Biden get? Does anyone realize? Yeah. So when he was president, he got back 58 hostages for 0 money. Remember Pastor Brunson? It sets a terrible precedent. Republicans, call out the 25th Amendment now. Biden is incompetent. Yeah, so if other regimes, capture spies or just, soldiers, what have you, if they've already set this precedent that they're going to give away billions of dollars to get their people back, they're going to play hardball. This is totally ridiculous. So they really, I don't know. It's like they're just trying to do everything to piss us off, and yet half the country still just goes along with everything. They're just gonna all the leftists are just gonna pretend like this didn't happen.
Let me just say this, Blake.
Yeah.
I don't believe that the numbers in our votes are accurate. I've said that forever.
I agree with you there.
For countervailing views, go to CISA.gov/rumor control. But I don't believe that half the country are stark raving lunatics. Look at the ratings for CNN or MSNBC. They're getting like 10%, 15%. Their ratings are in the toilet. People are not watching them. They don't have supporters. Joe Biden, like I said, he had 1%, 2%, 3% in the primaries. It's all rigged. It's all fucking rigged. I don't buy it for a second. I don't think half the country is stupid. I don't think
I don't either. It'd be 40%.
Well, then it should be 60% domination forever then, because I'm trying to avoid the black pill. Otherwise, why are we even trying and wasting our time?
81 billion. It was probably closer to 61 million.
51. Maybe.
The rest of it was just ballot stuffing, manufacturing ballots,
algorithm
stuff. Counting the ballots over and over by restuffing them in the machines. Yeah, there's a lot of problems with that one.
So I just want to say,
or people selling their ballots. Yeah,
let's try not to stay black pilled. We have to expose it. We have to keep pushing. There's more normal people than there are lunatics. I maybe not, but I'm just gonna act as if he won once. He got through somehow one time, and then he got more votes the second time, but lost to the least popular person you've ever seen: a child sniffer, a child toucher, a child showerer, a traitor, a guy selling us out, a guy with all of his documents in a Chinese, down in Chinatown in warehouses, unsecure locations, as a vice president. He never had access to all those documents. He never should have had it. Hillary with her private server. These people are sellouts. These people are globalist sellouts. They're not popular. So I'm just going to try to stay positive there. No, there's not go with Iran.
Well, Brian, we are at the 90-minute mark. I've got to leave in about 5 minutes. So let's hit the lightning round. We only got a few extra topics. All right.
Okay. we All right,
Okay.
that's what I meant to play. I didn't know that one was that one. That would have been 90
No
seconds.
worries.
Okay, Blake, agree or disagree? For democracy to survive, third parties will be banned and Trump imprisoned. Agree or disagree?
This was one of the more hilarious tweets if it wasn't so sad.
Nice.
This, courtesy of Rob Reiner,
Oh my
Meathead.
gosh, Meathead.
Yep. Makes an insane statement about what needs to happen for democracy to survive. So he might have the worst case of Trump derangement syndrome in all of Hollywood, and that's saying something. But the old boomer was recently made a statement on Twitter about what needs to happen in order for democracy to survive.
We're a constitutional republic, though, thankfully.
Yes, which he doesn't seem to understand. But he actually said, in order for democracy to survive, two things have to happen. Donald Trump needs to be convicted for January 6th, and there can be no third-party candidate. It's amazing. So, I mean, that is just like authoritarianism, and he's completely oblivious.
He sounds like Zelensky.
There you go. So Glenn Greenwald, again, reports, I love when Democrats take a break from insisting that they are defending democracy to actually explaining a bit what they mean by democracy, from trying to imprison their political adversaries to suing to strike them from the ballot, censoring the internet, to this. Here you go. So there's another one from Molly Hemingway. Removing from the ballot the candidate most likely to defeat the ruling regime is the equivalent of canceling the elections, a horrific attack on democracy. Everyone who cares about the country should loudly condemn. I mean, it's total insanity. But yes, keep in mind, he's not the best and brightest, and he does have a serious case of Trump derangement syndrome.
Who has the worst case of Trump derangement syndrome, Bill Maher or Rob Reiner?
No, it's either Olbermann or Reiner.
Bill Maher's really bad.
Bill Maher says some good stuff, though.
No, but
Olbermann says
not a single good thing when Trump is mentioned. I've watched like every one of Bill Maher's recent shows when he does Club Random. He does like one a week or something. I've watched almost all of these. Every single time Trump is mentioned, he starts frothing and making zero sense. So I think Bill Maher is at the top of the list. He does say some good things.
No, I think it's still Olbermann or Ryan. I mean, Olbermann is just like possessed. He is totally batshit crazy.
Bill Maher is possessed with Trump derangement syndrome. I'm telling you, try to watch an episode and catch it. He's the same exact way. It's really disappointing.
But to be fair to Bill, at least he does criticize his own party and how insane radical.
Yeah, but that's
right. But you won't get that out of Reiner. You will not get any intellectual honesty out of Keith Olbermann.
I agree, but that wasn't the question. I was just talking about Trump derangement syndrome specifically.
All right.
He's just as bad.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, I digress.
You can't go wrong with Reiner, who's just a cartoonish, and yes, the old meathead.
Correct.
So, all right. Totally batshit insane, but it was fun to make fun of him. And that's all I have on that one.
Next topic, Blake. Inflation is propaganda, and there's nothing to worry about financially. Agree or disagree? Was that another Rob Reiner, Jim?
No, it's from somebody maybe even more stupid.
Or was that like a tortoise with a keypad or something at the zoo?
No, this is AOC sharing a video claiming that inflation is just propaganda. And now some of her own constituents are starting to question her sanity.
Math is hard.
She's another manipulated idiot. So she'll go out and say anything. And she loves the spotlight. So she shared videos with her followers on Instagram that disputes the crippling inflation that everyday Americans are struggling with and suggested that it's just propaganda. And AOC and others on the far left can't admit that inflation is a real problem because that would be admitting a failure of Joe Biden and the Democrats. But some of the people in our own district, I can only imagine how sky high the prices are in New York. But
New York is so pissed off about the illegal alien invasion. That might turn that state red for the first time in a long time. They are pissed off about the illegal alien invasion. There might be hope for New York yet.
I hope so. There's a lot of good people with balls there, but there's also just millions of not people, people that aren't the best and brightest.
Millions
And
of
they
not
overthrow
people.
I don't know what to say. It's weird. You got it's a huge city. It's very diverse,
Yeah.
but it's amazing.
All right. So that's all we have on this one, right?
Depends on which borough you're in, but anyway, no,
Okay.
just more insanity from the left.
All right. Next topic. Owen Shroyer deserves more than 4 months of jail time for his role in J6. Agree or disagree?
I am going to disagree. I guess there's some positive news though, is that he had they were going to try to give him 120 days, and then I guess they changed their mind. They're only going to give him 60. But I guess as Ford Fisher has pointed out, there's something more to this, because I guess he was ordered. There's some. Yeah, I know we're trying to squeeze in too many words here. I don't have a lot of time.
I'll tell you. Owen was on a deferred prosecution, according to Ford Fisher News to Share.
Yeah.
Well, I think he'd be okay with us sharing this. This isn't like anything personal. This is what this is just
put this out publicly. Shroyer pled guilty to a single misdemeanor count, which was sentenced much more harshly because he was in violation of a previous deferred prosecution agreement for an arrest inside the Capitol in 2019. Okay. I think that's when he was trolling Jerry Nadler. And so a part of that agreement is he said he would not use loud, threatening, or abusive language, or to engage in any disorderly or disruptive conduct at any place upon the United States Capitol grounds. And he was there calling out the commie traitors in Congress that stabbed us in the back, and which seems like fair game. And yeah, they are certainly acting like commies, the way that they are arresting their opposition and calling it an insurrection when it's not. So, but he does only have 60 days instead of 120.
Okay, so there's that.
Right.
Another story to keep your eye on.
Yeah.
Blake, Trump, Biden, and Rupert Murdoch should take a mental acuity exam. Agree or disagree?
Agree. I think that would actually be hilarious. So I'm all in favor of that. In fact, Trump is the one that has called that out. Let's see if that's rolling. Let's grab this quick clip out of the Epic Times. Donald Trump issued a challenge to President Joe Biden and the Murdoch family to undergo mental competency tests after a Wall Street Journal poll found that many registered voters questioned the former president's mental fitness for office. It's amazing how they pretend like, Biden's okay, and then somehow Trump is the one that needs to have the mental tests.
Did you see Biden rambling and stammering for the September 11th stuff overseas? I mean, the guy,
they had to cut him off. Yeah,
they played him off like a long rambling Oscar speech. They just started playing weird jazz music. They gave him like the Sandman. If he would have been up there at Showtime at the Apollo, the Sandman danced out there with a cane and pulled him off the stage. It's ridiculous. So, all right, I'm for mental acuity exams for sure. And so when people are like, "Oh, we need age limits," I think we need functionality limits.
And Brian, I'm gonna have to run. You have to carry this story because I got no time. I will say,
you are Aaron Rodgers' doppelganger. Right. Any thoughts before you run? Just a quick anything on it.
Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles tendon because he was unvaccinated. I'm going to disagree. There's a lot of people there's a lot of leftists that are just taking pleasure in his demise on Monday Night Football last night. And of course, he's public enemy number one because of his stance on vaccines. But the reality is we have also Novak Djokovic wins U.S. Open after being banned from competing last year for refusing the shots. So it's not some karmic thing, as much as they'd like to admit it. But even the Babylon Bees having a little fun. Experts believing Rodgers' ankle injury is a result of being unvaccinated. But that is ridiculous. But it's been a pleasure, Brian, if you want to carry that out. But I have got to go. Thank you, everybody. TV's Blake Walley on Twitter, thenextlevelnews.com. We'll see you Thursday. Take care, everybody. Love you guys. Good job, Brian. We'll see you next time.
Great show, Blake. It was fun having you for a normal length show today. Thank you. All right. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, really sad, really disappointing, really depressing. I like Aaron Rodgers, and he's one of the few heroes in sports. One of the few heroes. Him and Kyrie Irving and Novak Djokovic, they all stood up against medical tyranny in the past couple of years. And it was nice to see Novak Djokovic win what was it, the U.S. Open tournament? I think it was the U.S. Open tournament. Really impressive. They stole time from him, much like they did to Muhammad Ali when Muhammad Ali refused, like with the Vietnam draft, and then they kind of derailed Muhammad Ali's career there to kind of take years away out of his prime. They did the same to Novak Djokovic. Tell me how this country can tell a prime athlete, peak physical condition, you are not allowed to fly from Australia into the United States unless you've taken this experimental medicine. By the way, go to cdc.gov/vaccine for more information specifically regarding vaccine-related medical claims and the political ramifications and fallouts thereof. See, it's at the bottom of our screen. We just leave it up there because you're allowed to do research. Yeah, that's not a dirty phrase. That's always a smart phrase. Never believe a thing I say. Do your own research. Prove me wrong if you can. Send me a comment if you prove me wrong. I like comments as long as they're fair. But yeah, Novak Djokovic winning that championship was fantastic. Bravo to him. And in I did an episode of the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. That's my other show, my sports show yesterday. I believe I streamed it through these normal channels as well because it was both. This story transcended sports. But Novak Djokovic, he won. And then in the highlights, they did, all right, and we're going to go to this. This is the final play of the match. And there it is. That's where Novak Djokovic wins yet another championship in his tennis career. That was our Moderna shot of the day. That was the Moderna shot of the day. Sponsored by Moderna. Sponsored by Pfizer. Yeah, sponsored by Moderna. Here's your shot of the day. And they replayed Novak Djokovic winning. Huge story. It's the simulation winking at us. It's the black cat, the red dress in the Matrix. It's a synchronicity. It's the mile marker in life that you're supposed to pause and take special notice of. So bravo to Novak Djokovic for winning. And Aaron Rodgers, I mean, it's too bad. We put do I have my Instagram? I don't know if I can switch between Instagrams on here because I'll show you a meme that was almost too spicy to share. Okay, it looks like I can switch. If I can switch, I'll show it to you. So on Instagram, we're the New American Media, and we're also the Unhappy Hour. So you should follow us, the Unhappy Hour on Instagram and the New American Media on Instagram. Please follow us in both of those places. I'll show you this. This meme came out, and it was, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, see, here's the thing with me. I always appreciate when memes collide. Maybe that's not the right phraseology here. With the word collide, but I love when memes come together. Here, let me show you this one, and then I'll go to the other one. Yeah, definitely follow our Instagram. Our Instagram is fun. A lot of good memes on there. There we go. Share. Now I have to double click share. Don't know why. Never had to double click before. There we go. Okay. This one wasn't quite memes colliding per se. This was a couple of days ago. But we put this out there. The Price is Right host Bob Barker dead at 99. My man got as close as possible without going over $1. Legend. So I mean, he died was the story, but then the fact that it was the whole thing, you spin the wheel, you try to get it as close to 99 cents without get your dollar without going over. So he got to 99. That was a good one, but it wasn't quite memes colliding. But the one I wanted to show you was, I mean, because Aaron Rodgers came out, he's in New York. He was the medical tyranny. Don't call him anti-vax, call him anti-medical tyranny. We got to be really careful with the words that we accept how other people are framing things. But he's in New York, and yesterday was September 11th. I mean, we didn't really even cover that topic on today's show. I mean, kind of at this point, what else can we say that hasn't been said? But so Aaron Rodgers plays 4 snaps and then goes down with an injury. And this meme came out, and I of course, it's the picture of one of George W. Bush's advisors. This is the scene when he was told that the tower went down. The tower was hit, probably is exactly what it was. And that was the feeling of just anybody in sports. You go, oh no, after all of this whole off season, after all of the hoopla, he's down. So on 9/11, Aaron Rodgers went down, and there's just the picture of Bush because the towers went down. I don't know. This meme struck a chord with me. You know, funny's in the eye of the beholder, I suppose. But yeah. So Aaron Rodgers, people are laughing at him, people are happy, and I think that's gross. Jack Conklin, the right tackle for the Cleveland Browns, got injured, and he spent a whole year recovering after another previous injury, and some guy rolled up on him and just from behind, he was just someone. It's just, you never know. Any play could be your last in the NFL, and Aaron Rodgers might retire now. And so you just hate to see injuries in the game of football. And he was out there representing New York with 9/11. He ran out waving the flag. It was like, this wasn't supposed to be the ending. And these gross leftists, they're mocking it because he opposed medical tyranny. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So, I'm going to throw some prayers out there to my boy, Aaron Rodgers. I'm so sorry you tore your Achilles. I hope you might have something left in the tank to come back again next year. But he's an older gentleman. He almost didn't play this year. I don't know if his career's done. Who knows? Maybe give him some time to think it through. But, Zach Wilson now, the high draft pick with the Jets, he gets a chance to figure out, is he going to be able, and he did. He led the team to a last-minute win yesterday. Of course, it was special teams in overtime that had the punt return for the touchdown, but he got him in position to get there by going down the field and getting the field goal to take the lead. Defense surrendered another 3 points going into overtime. So I like the underdog story. I liked seeing, I didn't get to tell Blake, but his Minnesota Vikings, my Cleveland Browns, but his Vikings played my former Cleveland Browns quarterback, Baker Mayfield, and Baker beat the Vikings yesterday in his debut. I'm really happy about that. I love the storylines of football. Rick Norman says the photo of Bush being told was a monumental setup. That look was acting. In reality, he would have been out of the room. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. What I am curious of is what were the words that the kids were saying at the time? What were they reading out of the book? Because I shared that. I'm like, I don't really remember the words they were saying. So I don't know if like the audio's been doctored. I don't really remember. But like, was that moment exactly talking about planes and falling and stuff? Anyway, I don't have it in me to go down that rabbit hole right now, but I don't know that George W. Bush would have been in on the advanced planning stages of what was happening, per se. I think that might have been a little past his pay grade. If I was guessing. It wasn't C-Spot Run. MJ Sedona, like they say, AOC is spreading disingenuous politics. Yes, dangerous misinformation, disingenuous politics. Yes. Rick is adding here to Jocelyn. Reiner is mentally ill. It goes beyond Trump. Yeah, the guy is wackadoo. And of course, Kenneth saying, I ran into my ex the other day. I hope you didn't bump into her too hard. Did it hurt when you ran into her? Yeah, Bush League, Kenneth says. Bush League. Well, yeah, it's time to take stock and just think 22 years ago how different the world is. But my point about Novak Djokovic, I still don't think I made the final conclusive wraparound point here. Don't tell me we got to take our shoes off to get on an airplane. Don't tell me we lose our freedoms and liberties. Don't tell me there's no longer a Fourth Amendment and you get to spy on everything we say and do at all times, violating our constitutional rights without reasonable cause for search and seizure. Don't tell me this is all done to protect us in the name of security, and you let 7 to 10 million people invade our country across our southern border. Don't tell me you can't have Novak Djokovic at the height, the peak of his physical performance. He's one of the best conditioned athletes on the planet. But you're saying for a health emergency risk, he can't come to the United States to participate in a tennis match? Piss off. Do not feed me any of that crap. I'm not buying it. I'm not having it. It's disgusting. Anyone that's going to push these policies or cheer for these types of situations, they're either willfully in on the scam or they are painfully ignorant. Do not tell me that Novak Djokovic can't play, but you're going to have millions of people storm across our southern border. Unvetted, unvaxxed, God knows who. Don't. And you still have a killer on the loose in Pennsylvania, still trying to track that guy down. Killed again. You know, an alien. Should have never been here. That person would be alive. It's just mind-boggling. So I'm going to try to stay positive, folks, because what other option do I have? So I'm not going to go black-pilled. I think we do control the country. I do think we have the potential within our grasp to positively influence and affect how things are managed on this, this video game that we find ourselves in, this simulation where we happen to reside, this rock that's hurtling through space. Whatever you want to call it, I just want to say that we have to keep pushing forward, and we have to keep speaking truth, and we have to keep expecting excellence. Look, my Cleveland Browns franchise, staying in the sports realm, we've been terrible since 1999 when our franchise was stolen in 96. But every year I expect an undefeated season and a Super Bowl win. We just crushed the team that's been to 2 straight AFC championship games. Joe Burrow, the highest paid quarterback in NFL history, and the Cincinnati Bengals, we steamrolled them 24 to 3. The defense looked incredible. Maybe this is our year. I'm going to keep expecting greatness, because what other option is there? I'm not going to expect mediocrity, and I'm not going to expect failure. I'm not even going to allow that thought to creep into my mind. When it becomes a reality and I want to vent about it, that's different, because it's reality. Oh, well, you complaining about the rain is making it rain. No, I don't think so. There's the secret. You got to stay positive. Well, I mean, maybe, but you also have to comment when things are bad. And yeah, when I do my shows, I get a little frustrated and I get a little animated because I'm passionate, because I care. I give a shit. And I know you do too. That's why you're here. You wouldn't be here if you didn't care. So I'm going to believe that we have the power to positively impact the things that happen on our political sphere, on our earth, in our daily lives, in this country. The beginning of The Departed starts with the black screen, and the voiceover is Jack Nicholson saying, "I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me." Let's make our environment a product of us. Let's demand excellence. And like Matt Gaetz said, if you don't live up to it, it's time for you to go. Bravo to Matt Gaetz. Bravo to Matt Gaetz today. Nailed it, crushed it. Thank you. We need that energy right now more than ever. More than ever. We need to defend our freedom and our liberty and our country. So get prepared, gain some skills, get some supplies, get ready, get right with God, get close to your neighbors, and just be ready for anything, okay? So for Blake Walley, check him out on TV's Blake Walley on Twitter and thenextlevelnews.com. For everybody at the New American Media across all of our platforms, please follow us in all the places. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Oh, I'm just going to play this again as the outro. Here we go. I think this is so cool.